I'm Susan Heller, the Kosher Keto Maven, and today we're going to make Marie Emmerich's egg white bread, but a different version, one that doesn't use liquid egg whites, but only egg white powder made from real egg whites. So the ingredients are this egg white powder, comes from Amazon, it's OU, it's from Modern Pantry. Allulose, that helps with the browning, that's also OU. Nutritional yeast, which is Earth K. Cream of tartar, which doesn't need a hechsher. Salt, that's OU. Active dry yeast, which is Kaf K. I'll put them in 2 loaf pans with parchment paper, and the parchment paper needs a hechsher, and I use one that's by Star K. And I also use avocado oil spray by Chosen Foods, which is OU. And that's it, so let's get cooking. First, we're gonna put the egg white powder into the mixing bowl. It's 1.5 cups. And then we're gonna put the salt and the cream of tartar. It's a 1/2 teaspoon of each in the mixing bowl. And then we're gonna put the allulose in. It's a 1/4 cup. And because it's a little lumpy, I'm gonna push it through the sieve. And just use your fingers to grate it right on the sieve. There we go. I'm going to put it on my mixing bowl. I'm going to mix it on low, just a minute, less than a minute, to get the dry ingredients mixed together. That'll do it. And then I'm gonna add 1.5 cups of water, filtered water. This I'm saving till after the egg whites are beaten. So I'm gonna gradually increase the speed or else it'll spatter until we get it to high. It'll take about 5 to 7 minutes before we get stiff peaks. Meanwhile, I'm going to show you my baking pans. Here's one already lined, and this one I'm going to line. The first thing I do is measure out some parchment paper, and I'm going to make it about 2.5 inches longer than the length of the pan. I'm going to crumble it all up. And then open it. And just watch. Push it into the corners. Pull it over all the sides. Crease it where necessary so it forms the shape of the pan. and there it's ready to go. Well, almost ready. I need to spray it with my avocado spray. And oh, as you can see, the egg whites are starting to get stiff. And I'm going to spray these with my avocado spray. I'm going to do it over the sink because I don't want to get these fumes in my camera lens. I'll be right back. I'm going to scrape down the sides. And then whip it just a little bit more. But before I turn the mixer back on, I wanted to mention that if you wet the pans before you put the parchment paper in it, it'll stick better. But if it doesn't, not to worry, because when you put the egg whites into the pan, it'll push down the sides from the weight of the egg whites. Okay, last minute here. As you can see, they don't fall off my spatula, so they're done. Before I put them into the pan, I'm going to stir the yeast and the active dry yeast and the nutritional yeast together and sprinkle it over the top. It's a half a teaspoon of active dry yeast and 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. I think they both give it some flavor. So they can make your egg whites fall. This is where you want to be most careful. You want to beat it less than 10 seconds because if you beat it too much, the egg whites can fall and also it'll taste like styrofoam. The secret to making this bread successful is not overbeating this part. You can beat it almost as much as you want when you're just beating the egg whites, but this part, 10 seconds. Okay, so now you want to scrape this, fold it in because it probably didn't get to the bottom. And I take a big scoop of it on my spatula, one for each end, and then this one. And I press it into the corners because I want it to have a nice square bottom. Doesn't take the air out of it. It's still whipped egg whites. But I make sure that first layer is really pushed in. On this size pan, I fill it up to the top. I don't mound it up. Making sure I press it into the corners and the edges. It'll rise a little bit and make a curved top. That probably will do it, but we'll see after we fill this one. So again, put it in the bottom at the corners and press it in. Doing this and smushing it around each time I add some helps it rise more evenly so I don't get a lopsided bread. Also, pressing it down helps it, I don't know how to describe it, but if you've seen this bread made by other YouTubers, they often have a bread that has like a crack right down the middle, which is what makes it lopsided. But pressing it down, even on this last time, so it kind of bonds together, helps it not make that crack. Some people take a knife and make a score down the middle. Oops. I've never needed to do that. Let's put a little more on here. Got a little bit left. There we go. I have an oven preheating over there to 325 degrees Fahrenheit. Oops. Okay, my oven's ready, so I'm going to pop these in the oven, and I'll see you after about 20 minutes. After these finish baking, which took about 20 minutes, you turn off the oven and leave them in the oven for 15 minutes. And then open the oven and let them cool for another 15 minutes. As you can see, they come right out of the pan. I'm going to put this one back here. And then you just need to peel away the parchment. And it slices basically like regular bread. As you can see, it's soft, it springs back. This is still warm. It would be great with some butter right now. And there you have it. Delicious, simpler white bread that's keto and carnivore. Preheat.